What is happening, people? Welcome back to That Car Vlog channel. My name is Andy, and this is, at long last, the first video of 2021. It has been a while since I put a video up, and a longer while since I actually shot a complete video. I think the last video on the channel was of the 2003 Toyota Corolla, my late father's car, and shot that at the beginning of October and posted it in the beginning of November. So it's been a minute, you know, holidays, work, blah, 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 all that crap. Just made it very hard to shoot a video. I really didn't have anything to shoot. So you know, I've got a couple things that were in the works, and those things kind of stopped happening. I'm going to pick back up on those later on. So when those videos finally come out, there's going to be some huge time jumps. Anyhow, today the focus is on the 1994 Dodge Dakota. If you don't already know, the vehicle I'm currently in is my 1994 Dodge Dakota SLT with the 318 or 5.2 liter V8. We are doing some lighting upgrades on it. First of all, though, I need to take the garbage out, which is what I'm doing now. And unfortunately, where we live, we have to run our own garbage, which is half the reason why I bought this thing and got rid of the Kia Sportage, as much as I love that car. So we're going to go do that. I'm going to make a run to Ace Hardware to pick up a tool that I need, and then we'll come back and look at the lighting upgrades that will be getting done to this truck. Alright, now that that's done, you can probably see the empty garbage cans sitting in the back now. Anyway, before I get started on what we're doing to the truck and why, I wanted to just show you real quick what this wonderful thing did today. Here's a short clip. Yeah, that's right. My 27-year-old Dodge finally rolled over to 200,000 miles. This is the second time that I've watched a quality 90s vehicle roll over 200,000 miles under my ownership, both of which happen to be red extended cab pickup trucks. The first one was my very first car, my 94 Nissan hardbody truck, which I foolishly traded back in 2011 for a 93 Explorer. Not saying the Explorer wasn't a good truck, but I really wish I hadn't traded that Nissan. Anyhow, that's the milestone this thing hit today, and I am super excited. I was happy to be able to grab it on camera. Now let's get back to the house and talk about the lighting work we're doing to this truck. Alright, back at home, I've gone inside and gotten the boxes of stuff for the job. I first want to show what I did with the headlight lenses. Now, in a previous video sometime last year, I believe it was part of the getting it ready to daily drive back in March, I tried a quick and easy method of clearing up these headlights, and that just doesn't work. So let's take a look at the passenger side. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got kind of a rough texture to it. You can even hear that as I scrape my finger across it. So a little bit yellowed, not extremely yellowed, but it's yellowed. And over here, on the driver's side, see how you can still hear it, but it doesn't sound as rough, and it's a lot clearer. This is not brand new factory clear. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to get these lenses to that, but it's a lot better. You may not be able to tell from back here. You might be able to. That side's definitely clearer. Now, the way I did this was with, actually, I used the Chris Fix method. A few years ago, he made a video on clearing up headlight lenses. He did it on a PT Cruiser. And the way he did it was he started by wet sanding the lens with 400 grit, switched to wet sanding with 600, switched to 2000. Now I got a pack of sandpaper that had 1500 and 2000 grit in it, so I threw the 1500 in between. Then he cleaned it up all nice, clear coated it, 3 coats of clear coat, came back, did a final wet sand to get rid of the orange peel, and it was done. And so that's what I'm going to do to this side to make it look the same. I'm not going to show the process. I don't want to feel like I'm being a copycat of Chris Fix. But that's the method that I used. It's an easy search in YouTube to go find it on his channel, and I think it's one of the best methods. It's more time consuming than just trying to quickly polish it, but it works. And now for the parts. I bought some parts for the truck. Right here we have some brand new turn signal lenses. But instead of the orange, and yeah, what he said, like and subscribe. Instead of the orange, we have clears. These are Anzo brand clears, which I think is kind of cool. I like the idea of Anzo, just from videos I've seen on other channels. But these are going to go right in place of these orange ones. I think they're going to look so good. And in this one here is the corners. Now, of course, these aren't lights, but they got reflectors. You see what difference that's going to make. It's going to look really good with this. One day I might go ahead and get brand new housings. I don't really want to spend that kind of money quite yet, but I still might go ahead and do that one day. But I definitely want to get these done. Now, onto the other box. This truck is going to be converted to LEDs on the outside, all around. And there's two reasons to that. One, it's going to look cooler, and they're going to be brighter. But two is this right here. This is a brand new headlight switch. And these Dodges are actually notorious for this. Apparently, on these 90s Dodges, be it the Dakota, the Ram, some of the vans, whatnot, this pull-out style switch goes bad on these things. And from what I understand, instead of running the headlights through a relay to where you just pull the switch, it triggers the relay and turns the lights on, Dodge decided to just run all the power through this switch. Well, these switches can't handle that amount of power, and eventually they go bad. So what happens with my truck is I'll be driving up the road, driving down the highway early in the morning, you know, going to work, it's still dark, my headlights on, and after about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes of driving, that's a big maybe, the headlights themselves will start flashing. Not the corners, not the markers, not the taillights, nothing on the dash will blink, but the headlights will. And so I'll cut the switch, I'll turn it back on, and go a few minutes longer before it does it again. If I hit my high beams, it's almost instantaneous. They will start flashing. If the headlights weren't already on, and I turn them on directly onto high beams, it'll take a few minutes. But if I'm already driving along, I have my lows on, and I switch to highs, they'll almost immediately start blinking. Same scenario. A funny story about that. Sometime last year, I actually was moving cars around in this driveway for some reason. And I had taken the Dakota, and I had moved it here, just down right here, just for a moment. I'd left the headlights on, and they were on brights for whatever reason, probably the last setting they were on. There was someone else living in that house right there at the time, and he was out doing a bonfire or whatever. A lights start blinking. I'm over here with another vehicle, taking care of it, and next thing I hear is this some dude coming up. Dude, are you all right? Dude, are you all right? Dude, are you all right? He's running around my truck trying to figure out if anybody's in there and flashing for help. So, my headlights worried a neighbor, so I guess that good neighbor. But yeah, so that was kind of the start of the issue. So I'm going to replace that. This is standard products. I ordered it off Rock Auto. I ordered a lot of stuff on Rock Auto. Hopefully that should be a good switch. This little box is a door switch. The door switch on the driver's side of the truck is bad, so I don't have dome light when I open the driver's side door. The passenger is still fine, so I'm not bothering with that yet. But that's going to get changed out. And now this box is full of the good stuff. This box is full of LED conversions. So, we're doing it all. This is going to be the tag lights. This is corner markers in the front. We have, I believe, the third brake light in the tailgate. These here are, let's see, we have reverse bulbs, taillight brake and turn signal for the rear. We do have an LED dome light. Here we have some load equalizers to, you know, mitigate any chance of hyper flash. In this bag, one moment, let me open it. Alright, in this bag are some front signal bulbs that I ordered off of Amazon from a company called Auxbeam. Now, this box has the LED headlights. Auxbeam is a brand that a few people on a first generation Dakota Facebook group that I'm a part of recommended as replacements. They recommended them as replacements for the headlights. I was just going to get some amber LEDs, much like these right here. And then I found these. These are switchback. And what that means is if you ever see on a modern vehicle where it's got LED running lamps and they're white and they're on all the time. But on some of them, the turn signals are also the same thing. So when you turn the signal on, the white goes off and the orange starts blinking. That's the idea of this. This is supposed to give you that effect as a plug and play 2057 or 1157 bulb. So if that works, that's going to look really cool. I'm going to have full white running lamps, you know, whenever they're on anyway, whenever the headlight switch is on. It's going to be all white here from corner to corner, and then when I hit the signal, this should change to amber for the flashers. Most people in Tennessee get away with white flashers. I'm trying not to try that. Plus, I think it's a cool effect. And here is the major one. This was, of course, the most expensive single item of the entire job. These are the Auxbeam LED headlights. Here we go. And this here's what they look like. Now, here's hoping they'll work in these housings. They better, or else I'm going to have to return them. I hope I don't. But these are really cool. These are 8,000 lumens. The color temperature is, I believe, 6,000, 6,500 K, something like that, pure white. Has a built-in 12,000 RPM cooling fan. And they are just plug and play. If I pull this here out, those plugs plug directly into the harness on the truck. And of course, the piece de resistance, it's a little folded, comes with a sticker, because you got to have stickers. Apparently those are horsepower. So that's what we're doing on the truck. Now another piece I got at Walmart, I got a nail file. And why did I buy a Revlon nail file? Because a lot of the electrical contacts on this truck, at least the bulb sockets, has some pretty nasty corrosion in them. And I'm going to have to get in there. I've got some electrical contact cleaner. I'm going to get in there with that and this and really clean that off so that these things will work as well as they need to. So, with that being said, let's get started, shall we? Alright, so what I've done, I started on the tag lights. Now, I found the clips on the frame and bumper that hold all this wire into place. I just kind of really gently undid them and pulled the wire through the bumper so I don't have to lay into the truck to do this and, you know, risk getting things in my eyes and whatnot, especially cleaner. Anyway, I already pulled this bulb, this is the passenger side bulb, out a night or two ago just to kind of check it out, and it was pretty nasty. It looked exactly like this one, the driver's side. And here's the bulb out of the driver's side. I just now pulled it, and you can see it's just all kinds of crap on it. Nasty, it's blown. So I just took my electrical connector cleaner, sprayed it in there, took the file, went to town on those contacts, and then grabbed my air compressor hose and blew it out. So now we're going to go get the first LED bulb, plug it in, see if we got light. And there we go. We have the first LED bulb on, and that thing's pretty bright. Look what it's doing to the camera. That's nice. Alright, we're going to get this other one done, get them reinstalled in the bumper, and see what they look like on the tag. Alright, and they're both in. I've clipped the wire harness back where it's supposed to go, and here they are. The tag lights are in, and they look good. Now, we'll probably benefit from buying new tag light housings, but I can do that at a later time, later down the road. But this looks really good. I'm pretty sure I only had one tag light for a while, and then it recently went out. So this is nice. No one's going to pull me over for not having tag lights. It has been done before, even here in East Tennessee. Alright, let's keep on trucking. Now we can do the rear lights. Alright, and it's the next day because it got dark. Now, I've already done the driver's side so that I know exactly what I'm doing. I kind of, you know, went through and did it nice and careful. Now I know I'm going to know what I'm doing over here. So, I've already removed the 4 screws. Now on mine, somebody stuck some Phillips heads in one side, but these are actually T25 screws on these Dakotas from what I can tell, because 6 of the 8 on the back are T25s. We'll just pop this thing out, and then of course twist and remove the bulbs. Alright, then we'll just remove the bulbs. As with any, just push in and twist and they come out righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This is a special bright bulb that I bought years ago for the reverse lights on the C10, and I put it in this thing when I bought it. Especially on this bulb, I don't want to touch it with my bare hands, so I got the towel to do that. And once these out, we'll start cleaning these sockets out because they are going to be nasty. Okay, and the camera is mounted to a tripod. I figured that'd make life a little bit easier. So here's what we got. Here's the reverse bulb socket. It actually looks pretty good in there. I can just pop the bulb right in. There's no corrosion or anything. That looks good. This is the tail light socket. And to show you the bulb base here, you see it is covered in crap. Now, these bulbs are still good, so I'm going to clean them off and save them for, you know, a rainy day. But we're going to clean this thing out. It is nasty. So here's what I did on the other side. I got this CRC electronic cleaner just for cleaning contacts, and I just filled this thing full. Might be a little overkill, but I filled it up. It doesn't take much. And I got this little brush here. It's got them bristles on the tip there, and that's what I use to dig around and just clean this thing out really good. And it does work. It breaks all this crap loose. It's the perfect size to get in there and break all that crap loose. It is disgusting. Alright. And then get up. I've got a shop towel here in the bed. I'm just going to go in there with a shop towel and wipe all the crud out. You see, there it comes. It's really nasty. A little bit more to wipe out. Not much. This thing's just about there. It doesn't take a lot. I don't know if there's better methods or easier methods, but this works very well. It got the other side nice and clean, and that's what I'm looking for a good electrical connection. Twist that around, and that looks much better. You can look in there, that looks really good. And while I'm at it, since I'm saving the bulb, I'm just gonna give the base of the bulb a spray and wipe it off as well. Because the bulbs, like I said, they're still good, they're still totally usable. All I gotta do is wipe the crap off of them, and I'll have some spare bulbs for a rainy day. Okay. Now that's done. We're not ready to put bulbs in yet. We got to wire in the load equalizer. Alright, so here's our load equalizer. It's not much to look at. It's just this gold bar. A couple wires run out of it. But this is what's going to put the same load on the system that an incandescent bulb would and prevent that hyper flash, that quick flash, from having LEDs that have a lower power draw. It comes with these little guys here, which are just used to splice this in. What you want to do is this tray here has two channels. One goes all the way through, one has a stop. You want to run the taillight wire through the one that doesn't stop and close this thing. You want to take this, you want to hook one end of this into the wire that feeds the brake and turn signal function, which in this Dakota is this brown and red, and then one into the ground, which is just plain black. So I'm just going to take this splice connector here. I'm going to set the brown and red wire in the channel. I'm going to clip this thing into place. Alright. Let me get my pliers. I'm going to need those. Got my pliers. Okay. Now I'm going to run one end of the equalizer, one of the black wires. We'll feed it into the channel that has the stop. So just feed it in till it stops. Kind of hold it and fold this other bit over. Kind of give it a push in. Now it's not secure yet. Still got to hold on to the black wire. Make sure that thing stays where you want it on the truck wire. Take your pliers and give it a good squeeze. And you'll know it's good because it snaps into place. Now, I like to check both sides just because I'm careful. but it's in there. That's fine. And see, now that's not coming out. And now we'll do the same thing with the ground wire. These wire bundles are a bit close, a bit tight. However, you know, they are exposed up here where it matters and where I need them to be, which is great. Click that, feed that. Okay, that stops. Obviously be sure of where you're positioning these splice connectors, because once you crimp them, there's no moving them. Alright, but that's crimped on there, and see, all that end also not coming out. Okay, we're going to get close here. You want to take the equalizer and you want to fasten it to a flat metal surface. Now, the inside of these Dakota beds have a perfect place right here. I already checked it. It's perfect. It's going to fasten right to it. It's flat, so this thing can sit up on it. This for heat dissipation. And it's not going to, when I put the headlight, the tail light, and this wiring back in, it's not going to interfere with it. So what I've got is some self-tapping screws. I went down to Ace and just grabbed some loose ones, put them in a bag because I don't need a whole big box. Self-tappers in my drill. I'm going to fasten that right to that area right there. And there we go. We can see right here, load equalizer is fastened to the metal. It's right up against it. That'll help with the heat dissipation because these things will heat up. Trying to put, you know, adding that load to the system that isn't there anymore with the LEDs. Now we can insert the bulbs into the socket. Alright, so we got the new Sylvania bulbs. This one here for the reverse is an 1156. Just stick it in there and turn. Perfect. Alright, and we grab this one for the tail light. Okay. And one for the tail light is an 1157 or 2057. Either code is the same thing. Alright, make sure the dimples are in the right place. And twist, and there it is. Now before I put it together, I'm going to test them out. So I'm going to go turn the key, hit the reverse, the reverse, the tail lights, and the signal. Alright, so those work. Real quick, reattach the tail light housing. So insert and twist. And insert and twist. Right in there. Reposition and get a before and after shot of these taillights. So here's before and after. So there it is. I can't tell, maybe they're not quite as bright as the incandescents, but that might just be my eyes, I don't know, or the camera, who knows. But now those are LEDs, those are done. Now while we're back here, we still have one more piece to change, and that is this third brake light. Okay, so third brake light is even simpler. There's just two Phillips head screws. I've always loved the Dakota for this third brake light. Very, you know, unique to the Dakota for the 90s, and even now, the only ones doing this is still Chrysler with the Jeep Gladiators. I don't know, I think it's a cool touch. It's, you know, all trucks have their third brake light up on top of the cab. Then you got this Dodge, you know, Dodge always thinking, you know, thinking cooler. Anyway, pull this out, turn, and pull straight out of the housing. There's two of them. Now, the bulbs that I got for this are code 921 or 912. When I was checking what they should be, it came up as a 922. So, slightly different what I bought I couldn't find any 922s in these LEDs. So here, hopefully, the 921s will work and I don't have to make a return and go back to incandescence up here. I shouldn't have to. The difference should only be very slight. These scissors need sharpened. Okay. So these are very easy, just pull them out. And now these sockets are squeaky clean. These things are still really nice. Absolutely no need to clean them. But we're going to pop these in and we're going to give them a test. If I can pull the wiring out far enough, I might be able to see them. Probably won't. Might be able to see them through the back window of the truck that way. Oh yeah. Hopefully I'll see them. So, we'll give them a test. Now I'm going to have to review that footage. It looks like I'm getting some light, just not all the way around. So I'm going to turn them around. I noticed that directions seem to matter when I put the tag lights in. So maybe it matters on these as well. I don't know why it would, but maybe it just does. So let's try them again. That looks better. I really want to be able to see this one from the cab. I really want to see that one. There we go. Okay. Looks like I'm not getting all the way around on that one. See? A little bit of trial and error because I can't. It's harder for me to see them from the cab. I don't have anybody out here to step on the brakes for me. There we go. Now we've got lighting all the way around. Now we can put these back in the housing. So very simple. There's no right or wrong way to put these in. Just put them in and twist. These are big. They barely fit through them holes. All right. Put it in and twist. I'm going to step on the brake and then I'm going to come back and check the footage. So the camera will know before I do how that looks. So hopefully that looks good. I'm going to go back and check it. Alright, so I don't know if it's the angle or the way the bulbs are made to where they don't point straight out or what, because they only shine along the sides of the bulbs. This may not be the brightest thing in the world. If I ever decide to figure out how, I might take it upon myself, take it apart and spray paint these sides silver. I don't know, whatever. But the point is, they're LEDs, lower power draw on the electrical system in the truck, and they'll look, I think they'll look cooler. So the entire rear end has now been converted to LEDs, tags, tails, reverses, and the brake. All that's left is the dome light, which would be quick and easy. In fact, I can probably go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. So this won't be hard. It's even easier since I don't have the headliner in. I can just get right up in here and pop this dome cover off easier than ever before. Now there's an advantage to not having the headliner done yet. I gotta pull this bulb out. It can be a little difficult. They don't like to come out. So let me work on that. Okay. Alright, so here is my bulb that I took out. This is a 2122 or 21 or 211-2. Something like that. Anyway, I could not find that in the LED once again. So I got a 6411. It's the same length bulb. The diameter this way is a little bit smaller, but the clips look like they'll hold it in no problem. So here's hoping this works. I have an interior dome light. This should just pop in exactly the same as this one. Okay, and there it is. It's in the housing now. I didn't get a before shot of the old bulb glowing, so oops. But it fits and it works. So now interior LED dome light. That's what I'm talking about. And one last shot. I put the cover back on. Boom! It's the brightest thing in the world. I'm hoping that's just because it's daylight and it'll look a lot better at night. But hey, LED! Alright, we're moving on to the front of the truck. Now on the passenger side, I've already removed the bezel and the headlight because I've actually got the headlight inside. I've been clearing it up. So we're going to work on the driver's side for the video. So first thing you got to do, take off this headlight bezel. Now if we come up here, there's a screw here, here, and down underneath there's 2 screws as well. We're just going to get in there with our Phillips. take those out. Now that the screws are out, they're simply just pull out on the bezel. Now we come around here, we can see here's this turn signal bulb, turn and twist, and here's the side marker bulb, turn and pull. That was supposed to be turn and pull on both parts. There you go, those are out, and this entire bezel comes off as one piece. Alright, so I come around to the back of the truck. Here's the bezel with the factory amber signal light lens and the factory corner. So now we're going to remove them. Starting with this lens, if we turn it around, there's a screw here and a screw here on the back. We'll just get in there and undo those, and it'll come off. Oh, and just like everything I do. Alright, after putting my body weight into it and trying not to strip that screw out, here's the lens. And here is the new clear lens. So this should just sit right in the exact same place. These are made by Anzo, which is, you know, supposed to be a good company making good aftermarket stuff. And screws are in the same location. I will say this, it's not perfectly lined up on this, but I can make it work. So I get the screw in, it'll kind of guide it. And I'll get in here and get this other side in. There we are. Now the new clear is attached. And now we just got to change out the side reflector at this corner here. So to take this off, what I've got is a 1/2 inch deep well socket. And you can see there's these metal nuts that run down on these plastic studs. So I'm going to have to take those off. And that should actually prove pretty easy, I imagine. No matter how rusty the nuts are. Oh yeah, and it's going to make you some noise too. But take those two off and that should come right out. Alright, with those out, there goes the corner reflector. And here is our nice new Anzo. So this will just fit right back in here in the same place. Turn it around and we'll stick those nuts on and screw them down over these studs. And there we are, the new corner is in place, the new clear lens. This already looks great. Alright, and we're back again working in the dark because things happened. So we're going to come into this wire bundle for the driver's side turn signal bulb. Now there's no exposed wires anywhere up here. It runs straight into the harness, all covered up. So what I did was I cut this rubber section here. I'm going to try to put some light on it right there. Inside of here is a green wire, a black wire with yellow stripe, and a plain black wire. The two wires that you're looking for are the green and plain black, which are the power to the flasher and the ground respectively. The other wire, of course, is for the dim function, which is simply runs the parking light. So, just like we did in the back, we're going to splice, we're going to use the splicers here to splice the wires from the load equalizer into those two wires. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to mount that load resistor probably right about here, maybe here. Both those places will work. I'll probably go ahead and do it right here. Once again, somewhere nice and flat metal and out of the way. Alright, now I got the load equalizer attached. I ended up taking the grill off to do so. No big deal. Here's the side marker. It's a 194. Plugged straight in. Once again, I'm not really sure of the direction. I may have to turn around to make not. I'll see when I turn it on. This is my Auxbeam Switchback LED. This is the one I'm excited for. This thing just plugs and plays right into the stock socket. Sure, I'm not going to insert it backwards. Alright, insert and twist. There we go. Now let's go turn things on and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to turn the spotlight off. Now it's completely dark. We're going to turn the parking lights on. everything looks good. Now, for the signal. That is exactly the effect it was supposed to do. Now, I did not know on the Dakotas that the side marker and the main bulb switch back and forth like this, like my old Chevy does. I actually learned that earlier today on another Dakota on the road, and I've had this thing a year and a half. But that is the exact effect I wanted, where the white goes off, the orange flashes. And when I turn the signal off, the white comes back on. That is exactly what I was looking for. That works great. Alright, let's get this thing put back together. I'm now really excited. Alright, so before I could mount the housings, I had to change the location of my load resistors. So I had to put them right about here on each side. And what happened was these wires that run into it are not long enough to allow me to push the wires back through. So I actually removed the headlight housing itself that's sitting right here, and I relocated them right here. They're still perfect amount of clearance, more than enough. They can sit right there just fine. So let me go ahead and reinsert this headlight housing. Now this is the driver's side. This is the first one that I did, that I cleared up. Let me show you how it mounts. Now right here, here, and here are some clips. When you're removing it, there's a tab on each side of this. You want to pinch both at the same time with a pair of pliers or something, and it pulls out. Of course, pull your headlight bulb out of the housing before you try this. Anyways, and apparently they spin a little bit. That's awesome. Anyway, installation, opposite of removal. Just slide these onto each section, give it a push. They'll all three click into place, and now it's on there. Now, let's get this turn signal housing on. First of all, I do need to put the grill back on. It made it a little easier to work by putting the grill on. I'd put it on once before, took it off to do this. So we'll get that back on, and we'll get to putting those bezels on. Before we put this on, the first thing you've got to do is peel this piece right here off. This is just a protective cover for the hole the socket goes into. So peel that off. Now, both sides have one here and here, except for this side. I'm not really sure why. It might have just got lost. I don't know. It is easier if you peel this one off. This is for the side marker before installing the lens into the bezel, but I didn't on the other side, so it was a bit difficult, but I got it. Now we just pop the sockets into this ring and this ring. They pop in exactly the same as the stock. Alright, once you get the bulbs popped into their, or the sockets rather, popped into their spaces, just kind of work everything in there. Just like that. It's the same bezel, so reverse is the exact opposite of removal. Just use the screws you took out before, and that's it. And we'll see how these things look with the lights in them. Alright, now let's test out the lights to see what they look like. So here's the regular parking lamps, or you know, the ones that shine when your headlights are on, white and white. Now let's hit the flashers. And there they change to the ambers, and they do the alternating thing, which is cool. I love the switchback look. I love that it works. Alright, now get the other side installed and get this thing put back together. How cool! And it comes right back on when you turn them off. Okay, so I've got both sides installed now, as far as the parking lamps are concerned, and man, these things are bright. Look out ahead of the truck. See, and I'll show you right here. No headlights. I don't even have bulbs in those housings yet. That's the parking lamps. I could drive at night with just these. I won't because it's still illegal, but dear Lord. Now let's hit the four-way flashers. Now that I got both sides installed. And see, now they change to an incredibly bright pair of orange flashers. That, of course, blink back and forth between the orange and the white corners. I am loving this look. But it's kind of wild just how bright these things are. Okay, we'll continue the rest of this in daylight. Alright folks, and now we come to the main part of this project, and this is the new headlight bulbs. We are going with LEDs, once again to hopefully cut down on the power draw being pulled through the switch and not wear out the new one. These are a 9004 style socket, which is what this truck takes. These are 8,000 lumens, 4,000 per bulb. I believe the color temperature is about 6500 K, pure white. Got a 12,000 RPM fan on the back of them to help with cooling. Built-in electronics. All this has to do is plug and play. So first of all, let's pull out the old bulb. Now to do that, right in here you have a lock ring. We just twist her counterclockwise, pull out. Then the bulb will also come out. Careful, because we'll try to bind a little bit. Alright. There is a connector. Let me pull this apart and I'll show you the connector. Alright, with a little bit of wiggling, maybe a little cussing, whatever you gotta do, this comes out. You have to pry up on these tabs with a screwdriver. Very easy, it just likes to stick. And we grab our new bulb. Right here. This just plugs directly into that plug I just showed you. And like so. My lock ring, just slide the lock ring up over. Excuse the terrible camera work. That's just what I do. Okay, that's better. So, first of all, make sure you're putting it in the right direction. It is now in the correct direction. These may have a little bit of a time getting past some of the inner tabs of this lock ring, but it will go in. And then we're just going to insert this into the housing the exact same way and lock this ring into place. And there it is installed in the housing, just like the original halogen bulb. Plug the pigtail into your factory connector, and now it's time to go test it. Alright, let's turn them on and go see the difference. Now, I actually put some cardboard over the new clear tungsten lenses so that those bright lights wouldn't drown out the effect of the headlights. So here's the halogen, and here is the LED. Night and day difference, even in daylight. Let's go hit the brights. Might even be able to see it on the side of that carport over there. Let me go make sure my indicator's on, because I couldn't tell from here. Indicator's on. Let's go check it. I can't see much of a difference, but wow. I mean, just looking into them, it's bright. This can be. Let's do one more. Look at the carport. Click. Oh yeah, it's definitely lower. These things are bright. That is awesome. Alright, let's get the other one in and take a look at the full effect of this job. Alright, and the second bulb is in. Look how bright those are. That's low beams. And let's go ahead and remove the cardboard from the parking lamps to get the absolute full effect of the front end of this truck now. Dude, look at it. Just nothing but white light pouring out the front. And then, of course, we just hit our hazard lights. We get the switchback effect. Man, I am super thrilled by this. This looks so good. That's exactly what I was going for. Alright, we got a little bit more to do before the job is done, and that's going to take place inside the cab. It's time for switch replacement. Alright, for replacing the headlight switch, first part, take down this panel below the steering column. There's a screw on each side, take those out. Then take out this whole bezel that goes around the instrument cluster and the center stack. It's just a bunch of T20 bolts. Make sure I'm right. Yes, T20 screws, and that'll pull out and up. Same procedure as when I replaced the radio. Also, there should be a screw right here, in this corner right here, and same on that side. I kind of might have forgot they were there. Alright, next thing, now I removed this panel here, which is laying on the ground, assuming that I had to. Turns out I don't have to. Anyway, there's a screw here, 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 and here. Remove those screws, and this whole thing, which, you know, on trucks with automatic transmissions includes the light switch and the overdrive button. Manuals won't have this. Pull this out, and we can see the connectors and stuff right in there. We're going to disconnect those connectors, and we should be able to pull this entire thing out. Alright, and now that it's out, I'll show you the connectors you have to disconnect. So first we have this one right here. Okay, that's for the overdrive switch. This one here There's a little one right there. Not really sure what that is. I'm guessing for maybe, I don't know, maybe ground. I don't know what it is. It's got one single black wire. It's probably ground. I have no idea. And then this big boy right here. That plugs into the side of the switch right here. Now let's go to the back of the truck where it's a little easier to shoot and take care of this. I will show real quick before I do that. There's one spot right about here. One spot on the connector. I don't know if you can tell. The lighting is terrible. But it looks like a little bit of melting has started. Now these things will heat up and melt the connectors. This is not so bad that it can't be used. Actually the thing looks pretty good except for just a little bit of melting that doesn't affect anything. So I'm glad I'm getting to it now before this became completely unusable and possibly even fused to the switch. Alright, now that we're at the back of the truck and I've studied my Haynes manual because it's awesome. Here's how we free the switch from the bracket now. Behind here, the lighting is terrible, but where my finger is touching, there's a nut. You can get in there with some pliers, needle nose maybe if you need to, or spin it with your fingers. If you can hold it still and spin the switch, that's even better. But you want to loosen that completely so that you can pull the switch, so you can begin pulling the switch away from this bracket. Alright, once you've gotten that nut loosened, you can see now we're pulling the switch away. You'll press and hold, there's a release button right here, spring loaded. Push and hold that as hard as you can and pull on the handle. That will allow it to pull completely, and you may have to do some wiggling. It will come. Just there you go. It will pull this handle completely out of the switch. Now you can also pull it completely out of the bracket, which whatever, do it or don't. But that frees the switch. Now you do the exact opposite of that to put the new switch in. So here's the new switch. It's the exact same thing. Stick this back into the bracket. Hold the push down button, push this all the way until it won't go anymore. Then secure it with that nut in the same way that you released it. Alright, reconnecting the large connector is a pain. But I got it and the smaller connector onto the switch. Let's test this switch out. So, let's start with turning on all lighting outside the truck. We have all lighting on outside the truck. Very good. Test our dimmer function, so it turns up the dash and nice. And of course there's a click for the dome light. And since I have the passenger door open, driver door doesn't really matter. Let's go close the passenger door and make sure the switch for the dome light works. If I know that works, then this is a completed replacement. So, as you can see, driver door still doesn't turn the light on. Turn the switch, lights on. Alright, good replacement switch. Let's turn that off. And let's put the dash back together. And there we go, the dash panels are reinstalled. Took me a little less than 10 minutes, because I've done this before. Biggest pain actually is this one right below the steering column. Just lining everything up, but it works out fine. I'm not going to replace the door switch in this video. I'll just do that some other time and I won't bother with a video about it. Mainly because that switch, I tried to unscrew it and apparently something happened. The wires are no longer connected and I got to go fishing for them. So that'll just happen another time. No need to video that. It's just a door switch. Anyway, let's get this thing cleaned up because I want to get it out on the road and see what it looks like to drive behind those awesome new lights. Alright, I'm going to take it out in a minute, but let's just get a walk around of the lighting on this truck now that it's pretty much complete. I got one other thing I want to do, but I'll do that probably tomorrow. I'll have to get in close. There's the headlights, the markers, and of course if we hit the flashers, oh, there goes the switchback. Go around back. Here we have our tail light flashers, our LED tag lights. Oh, and let's not forget, of course, the dome light. Let's drop our concrete foot on the pedal. And the third brake light, all LED. Like I said, there's another LED feature I've got that I'll probably do tomorrow if I get the time, that I kind of decided on last minute. I did just get a thought that I might want to do the floorboard light LED and the underhood light, but I'll do those at a later time. Right now it's not important. I want to get this thing out on the road and see what it's like to drive behind these lights. Okay, so I'm out here on the road near where our house is, on a nice dark back road, and I hope the camera's going to do this justice. Here's low beams, and here's high beams. High beams. Man, that is a big difference. The camera may not pick it up, but I can see at least another 50 to 100 feet. That's insane. These things are great. Oh man. Of course, if we hit a turn signal, you can probably see the orange in the corner there. Kill that. Alright, this is sweet. So there you have it, folks. That is the pretty much completed LED swap on my 1994 200,000 mile Dodge Dakota SLT. I say pretty much because there's a couple of bulbs that I didn't do. There's an underhood light which comes on when the hood opens. There is a light under the glove box. I could convert those to LEDs, and I might eventually. Those are just going to be real simple, pop out, pop back in. I was going to put some cool clearance lights right across the front of the grill here, kind of give it a little big rig look. But the ones I bought, I gotta sit down and really figure out how to mount those to this grill without drilling into the chrome part of the grill. Anyway, that's going to be it for this. Really pleased with how this turned out. Right now, it's pretty much middle of the day. It's been a rainy day today. It's not raining now, so it's not full daylight, but still it's daylight. And you can see just how bright these are even during the daylight. And these are on low beams, and they look so good. Here I got the left signal turned on with that awesome switchback bulb in there. Really pleased with how that turned out. I really like the look of this, and I hope you guys do too. Anyway, like I said, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned something. If you've never done LED swaps before, this is my first as well, so it took a lot of research for me to figure out what to do and to figure out what I wanted. Anyways, the Auxbeam bulbs that I bought for the headlights and the front signals, I bought those on Amazon. I'll drop a link below in this description to those, so you can easily find them if you want to use them on yours as well. Otherwise, all the other bulbs, the tail lights, reverse lights, side markers up front, dome light, those were all Sylvania, bought at Walmart. And I'll list below the bulb codes, the code numbers, so you know exactly which ones to buy for which application. So a list and links for ease of use, we'll say. Anyways, if you like what you see, you want to see more things on this channel from me, make sure you hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you'll know when I put more things up. I just got an important part to continue with the Chevy. Hopefully I'll get back on that here soon. It's been a few months since I've been able to do anything on that. It's been a few months since I've been able to do anything on anything, but hopefully I can get back to that soon. We are looking at moving into a better place, so I can't promise how content is going to go, and especially with progress on that truck. Eventually it's going to be loaded onto a trailer, and that thing is going to have to pull it. If everything goes as we want it to, as it needs to go, we'll be moving hopefully shortly, within a month or two, and that beast will be tasked with pulling that beast on a trailer. Anyway, that's enough for now. I think I've talked enough in this video. I'm sure it's getting pretty long. Once again, guys, like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at that car vlog channel. Also, I'm always looking for cars to review and drive on the channel. That's obviously one of the goals of this channel, is to review as many cars as I can. If you have anything you'd be willing to let me review and drive on the channel, hit me up on social media. Send me a message. Let me know what you got. If you're anywhere near the greater Knoxville, Tennessee area, that would be best, just because I'm not really up there where I could travel far. I'll also put a list down below that I've made, that I put in the description of every video, telling pretty much what off the top of my head I would be interested in reviewing and driving. Obviously, some things are a bit more ambitious than others. Anyways, thanks y'all for watching. Have a great one, and we'll see you next time.